Morning, boys and girls. We're going to go over a few things that we went over yesterday, just so that those of our students who weren't there can do the assignments without having any problems. The first goal that we went over yesterday was knowing how to write the different division problems. So I'm going to go over that now, just making sure my camera looks good. So again, the first way of writing a division problem, which is the one that you're most familiar with probably seeing, is using our standard division sign. So that's a line with a dot below and a dot above. The first number is going to be our dividend, and that is the big number that we are going to be splitting up. So in this case, it's going to be 20. The divisor is how many groups you're splitting it up into. So in this case, we're going to use 4. And then don't forget, we always need that equal sign afterwards. And then the answer for a division problem is called the quotient. So in this case, it's 5. So what this problem is asking us is if you have 20 jelly beans and you want to split it into 4 groups, how many are you going to have in each group? And the answer is going to be 5. So we need to get that vocabulary into our mind for whenever we're going to be answering these math problems, because whenever we have these math problems, there's certain languages that we need to know in order to answer the problem. So again, the dividend is what or how many are being split up in total. The divisor is how many groups you're making. Okay, so in this case, we have 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. So this is the standard way of writing it. Another way of writing it is using this very special division symbol here. Works a lot better if you have a ruler and when you're making it smaller. Now, the dividend is always going to go underneath. Okay, so we kind of pretend that it's in its own little house. I like to kind of pretend that it's in its house and it likes to be broken up into 2 different groups, okay? So here, our divisor is going to go on the left, and the quotient is going to go on top. Now, when you do this, it's very, very important that here we have 5 ones, okay? So it's only 5. It's not 0.5, it's not 50. So it's really important that you always line up that set of ones over this set of ones, okay? You remember whenever we're talking about ones, tens, and hundreds, we line things up like that? It's always important to line those up because let's say you get into bigger numbers and your numbers are not lined up, then you could miss a 0 somewhere, you could miss a decimal place somewhere, and everything goes haywire, okay? So always make sure things are lined up. Just like when we're using decimals, it must be lined up, okay? Okay, the third way of doing it is as a fraction. So here, what we're going to be doing, so we have our fraction line, okay? Now our numerator is going to be what's being split up. The numerator, the number on top, is going to be our dividend. So it's 20 over 4. Okay, so this is how many groups we're splitting up, and this is what we're splitting up, okay? So then what we have originally and how many groups we're splitting it by. So this is going to equal 5. Now, as we discussed yesterday, unless you have a full keyboard on your computer, you're not going to be able to find this symbol, and I'm pretty sure no matter what keyboard, you're not going to be able to find this symbol on your keyboard. So you're going to have to write it as a fraction. Now, if you do not have a full keyboard, as I do not, it will have to be linear in a line, okay? Which means that you're going to have 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So if you're on your computer, it's going to look like this. Now, I did say that you could use the other slash. It's technically not correct because if you look at this like this, okay, it is kind of naturally trying to go this way, in which case the 20 is going to be on top, okay? It's kind of looks like it's on top already. So this is the correct way. This is the way your line should be going, but if it's not, that's okay. We'll make do, okay? So this is how to write your division problems and what language to use.